She looked me in the eyes, dropped her dress, and owned the room. The chamber floated high above the central city of Zephyr Prime, its walls made of transparent alloys that reflected the glittering lights of distant stars. Hundreds of alien delegates moved silently around the room, their tall, angular bodies and shimmering skin patterns making them appear almost like living constellations. Humans rarely visited these councils, and the few who had were remembered for their fear, hesitation, or poor negotiation skills. Alara had trained for years for this moment. Earth's inclusion in the Intergalactic Trade Alliance was on the line, and all eyes would be on her. Some of the council's members were known for their ruthlessness, those who saw weakness as an invitation to humiliate or crush. But Alara had something they didn't expect. Humans were unpredictable, adaptable, and bold. She adjusted the ceremonial robe she wore. It was long, flowing, and decorated with symbols of humanity's achievements, images of space stations, starships, and Earth's great cities woven in light-reflecting threads. The aliens might see it as ostentatious, or they might see it as confidence. Either way, it mattered little. What mattered was her presence, her poise, and the way she would command the room without violence. The chamber's doors hissed open. A wave of air washed over her, carrying the faint hum of energy fields that protected the council from surprise intruders. Delegates turned, their eyes, large, faceted, and glowing, fixed on her. The room fell into a stunned silence. Alara walked forward, each step measured and calm. She met the gaze of the nearest delegate, a Zyphorian named Clithar, known for dismantling arguments with cold, analytical precision. She held his gaze steadily. The alien blinked in surprise. Most beings cowered or bowed before entering the council chamber. Humans apparently did neither. Her voice, amplified subtly by a personal translator, echoed lightly as she spoke. Honored members of the Zyphorian Council, I am Captain Alara Voss, envoy of Earth. I stand here not only to represent my planet, but to demonstrate that humans are ready to join the interstellar community as partners, not subjects, not threats, but equals. A murmur spread through the chamber. Some delegates tilted their heads, puzzled. Humans speaking so boldly, so confidently, it was almost audacious. Others remained motionless, their alien features unreadable. Alara paused, letting her words settle. She could feel the council's attention like a pressure field pressing against her, testing her resolve. But she didn't flinch. Humans had faced far worse, storms that destroyed ships, alien predators on uncharted worlds, diplomatic disasters in the making. Humans endured. Humans adapted. Suddenly, a delegate with deep, dark blue skin and bioluminescent markings stepped forward. This was Vorath, one of the council's most feared members. His voice resonated like low thunder. Captain Voss, Earth has sent no envoys to other species before. Why should we believe your people are ready for interstellar governance? Alara held his gaze, unafraid. Because humans have survived countless challenges without the guidance or mercy of others. We explore, we invent, we learn. We make mistakes, yes, but we also grow. And we do so faster than many species because we are resilient, resourceful, and, when necessary, bold enough to take risks others won't. The room grew quieter. Boldness was not a common trait in Zyphorian politics. Calculated caution ruled here. Alara's words were not threats, they were a challenge, a subtle one. She knew some delegates would find it uncomfortable. She wanted that. Humans had always been strongest when underestimated. A holographic panel rose in the center of the chamber. It displayed Earth, continents, oceans, bustling cities, satellites orbiting the planet, and the first human ships crossing into space. Light shimmered across the faces of the delegates, reflecting in their multifaceted eyes. This, Alara said, pointing to the images, is what humans have achieved in less than 300 years of spaceflight. We are eager to share our knowledge, trade our technology, and learn from your species. But more than that, We are ready to prove ourselves as capable members of the Alliance. Voreth's glowing eyes narrowed. Impressive. Yet words alone do not impress the Council. Humans must demonstrate understanding of our protocols, our logic, and our technology. Many have tried and failed. Why would you succeed? Alara smiled faintly. Because humans do not rely solely on tradition or technology. We rely on creativity, intuition, and collaboration. When others are trapped by rules, we find new paths. When others see limits, we see opportunities. A quiet tension spread through the room. This human, this small, seemingly fragile being, was not cowering, not pleading, not afraid. And somehow, the confidence radiating from her unsettled even the most experienced Zyphorians. Then came the test. Voreth motioned with his clawed hand, and the floor beneath Alara projected a holographic maze filled with alien symbols, shifting walls, and energy barriers. It was a simulation designed to challenge diplomats, navigate the maze, answer questions from hidden panels, and demonstrate problem-solving under pressure. Many species failed these tests. Most humans would have panicked. Alara stepped forward. She didn't hesitate. Humans were adaptable, she reminded herself. Rules could be learned, patterns could be seen, and instinct could guide her where alien logic might fail. The maze shifted as she moved, alien symbols rearranging themselves faster than she could track. But she slowed her breathing, observed carefully, and noticed a subtle rhythm, patterns in the shifting walls, clues hidden in the light reflections, hints in the timing of the energy pulses. Humans were masters of pattern recognition, even in chaotic environments. Step by step she advanced. The delegates watched silently. Some whispered to each other. Could this human really be capable? When she reached the final barrier, a panel descended, glowing with a complex equation of Zyphorian logic. Many had failed here. Humans had no formal training in this alien code, but humans had imagination. Alara scanned the symbols, rearranged them mentally, and applied a principle of symmetry and probability. The panel flickered. Then, with a soft hum, it accepted her input. The chamber erupted, not in applause but in shocked silence. She had done what few could. Voreth's eyes widened slightly, a rare display of emotion. Remarkable. You have not only navigated the maze, but done so with creativity we did not anticipate. Alara kept her posture straight, her expression calm. She did not gloat. That was not human strength. Strength was in mastery of self, in presence, in subtlety. Now came the final stage, the presentation of Earth's potential as a member of the Alliance. Alara stepped into the center of the chamber. Her ceremonial robe shimmered in the holographic light. But then, with a boldness that startled even her own team, she removed the outer layer of her robe, revealing a simpler suit underneath. Functional, elegant, with holographic displays built into the fabric showing Earth's technological achievements, cultural milestones, and humanitarian efforts. The gesture was simple, almost theatrical, but the effect was profound. The aliens were unprepared for such direct, confident, and innovative communication. Where they expected submission, they saw authority. Where they expected fear, they saw confidence. Humans did not just follow rules, they redefined the moment. Alara's voice rang clearly. You see not just what Earth has built, but what humanity can offer. We are adaptable, innovative, and committed to partnership. And we are ready to prove it every day if given the chance. The delegates murmured among themselves. Some leaned closer, others tilted their heads, trying to understand. Humans, it seemed, had a way of turning expectation on its head. And in that room, at that moment, Alara had captured their full attention. Voreth stepped back, acknowledging her subtly. Very well, Captain Voss. You have passed the first trials, but the Council has more challenges ahead. Be prepared, for the next stage will test not only intellect but your understanding of us and of yourself. Alara nodded. She had won the first round, but she knew the journey was far from over. Humans thrived in adversity, and she would need every ounce of courage, wit, and creativity to succeed. As she looked around the chamber, she realized something remarkable. Humans were underestimated not because they were weak, but because they were unpredictable. That unpredictability, the very thing that unsettled the council, was her greatest strength. And so, standing tall in a room full of beings who had never seen a human like her, Alara Voss prepared for the trials ahead. She had arrived as an envoy, but she would leave as a symbol of humanity's ingenuity, resilience, and audacious spirit. The council was watching. The galaxy was watching, and humans, bold, clever, and unstoppable, were ready to show their place among the stars. The chamber's air felt heavier the next morning. Captain Alara Voss had passed the first trial, but she knew the council's tests were far from over. The Xiphorian Council did not simply approve newcomers. They tested every facet of character, intellect, and adaptability. Humans were known for resilience, yes, but the Council wanted to see if that resilience could survive their kind of pressure. Alara's mind replayed the maze and the reactions of the delegates. The memory of pulling back her ceremonial robe and revealing Earth's achievements had shifted the room's energy. Some delegates had leaned forward, curiosity sparkling in their alien eyes. Others had recoiled slightly, unsure what to make of a human's boldness. But there was one thing she knew: Vorath would not be fooled twice. The chamber doors opened, and Alara entered once again. Today's trial was unlike the maze, a real-time debate with multiple delegates simultaneously, each using alien logic that bent rules humans were not accustomed to. The room had changed. Holographic panels hovered in the air, each representing a delegate who would fire questions, challenges, or puzzles at her. The council's purpose was clear: test humanity's decision-making under pressure and uncertainty. Vorath's deep voice echoed. Captain Voss, today you will face the council's greatest challenge. You must navigate multiple simultaneous disputes, answer questions in real time, and demonstrate your understanding of Xiphorian protocol and ethics. Many species have failed this test, not because of intellect, but because of fear, hesitation, or rigidity. Humans are unpredictable. Let us see if unpredictability serves you or betrays you. Alara nodded, her expression calm. She knew humans thrived under pressure. Fear could freeze some species, but humans often outperformed expectation when rules were unclear, when stakes were high, and when they had to improvise. She would rely on that now. The first question came from a delegate named Rilthara, a Xiphorian whose skin shimmered with golden stripes. Earth claims it can adapt quickly to alien cultures, yet your species has history of internal conflict. How can we trust humans to cooperate with others outside their planet? Alara took a breath. Humans are imperfect, yes, but it is our imperfections that teach us resilience. Conflict has forced us to innovate, negotiate, and find solutions in seemingly impossible situations. If we can survive on Earth with its diversity, competition, and challenges, we can survive and thrive in interstellar cooperation. A pause. Rilthara tilted her head, studying her. The response was not what many had expected. Humans did not hide weakness. They acknowledged it and then turned it into strength. Next, a holographic panel lit up with complex Xiphorian mathematics, meant to evaluate strategic thinking under time pressure. Alara blinked at the symbols for a moment, then smiled. Humans had a gift for lateral thinking. She rearranged the logic in her mind, applied probability patterns, and input the solution. The system hummed, then accepted her answer. A ripple ran through the delegates. Then came the real test. Vorath's voice filled the chamber. Captain Voss, your understanding of rules and logic is sufficient, but the Council must know if your species can handle subtlety, deception, and diplomacy. Suddenly, the floor shifted beneath her again. This time, instead of a maze, she stood on a platform surrounded by projected holograms of alien delegates arguing amongst themselves. Each hologram represented a dispute: trade negotiations, territorial claims, technology sharing, and ethical dilemmas. Alara had 10 minutes to mediate and find resolutions acceptable to all parties. If she failed, Earth would face immediate rejection. She scanned the room. Most humans might panic in such chaos, but Alara thrived on it. Humans could assess patterns quickly, understand intentions through body language, and improvise solutions on the fly. Her first step was listening. Unlike many species who tried to dominate or argue over logic alone, humans listened to conflicting sides, noting subtle cues, finding hidden motives, and identifying what truly mattered to each delegate. She addressed the first hologram, a territorial dispute over a newly discovered asteroid rich in minerals. Both sides have valid claims, she began. Yet if we consider shared mining rights, regulated by a neutral party, both can profit without conflict. And Earth can provide technology to monitor fairness in real time, ensuring compliance. The delegates' holographic faces flickered, representing approval or skepticism. Some were pleased, some hesitant. Alara's calm tone and clear reasoning carried authority. Humans had a way of simplifying complexity without appearing weak. Next, the ethical dilemma. A small species demanded protection from the Xiphorians' colonization plans. Many humans would have avoided taking a stance, but Alara did not. Protection and cooperation are not mutually exclusive, she said. By establishing protective zones and offering Earth support in sustainable development, your council can ensure the smaller species thrives without compromising your goals. A few holograms shimmered, showing subtle shifts in their posture. Humans were unexpectedly bold, yet diplomatic. Then came the psychological challenge. A delegate attempted to provoke her. A hologram displayed an impossible scenario designed to confuse and humiliate her. If she answered wrong, the council would see humans as fragile and unfit. Alara took a deep breath. Humans were adaptable. She analyzed the scenario, stripped away the alien assumptions, and reframed it in terms any species could understand. The solution is not in following the expected rules, but in recognizing hidden intentions and finding a creative compromise, she said, calmly demonstrating step by step how a fair outcome could be achieved. The holograms flickered again. Approval ratings went up. Many delegates were visibly impressed, whispering among themselves. Humans were not only surviving the test, they were redefining it. Then came the final, most dangerous challenge. Voreth himself appeared as a hologram, a massive projection that seemed to fill the chamber. "Captain Voss," he said, "you have handled individual disputes with skill, but can you handle unpredictability in combination? The next scenario will test your ability to respond to simultaneous crises that even we struggle to resolve." 4 holographic scenarios appeared at once: a trade dispute, a planetary ethics case, a security breach, and a diplomatic insult from another species. Alara's pulse quickened not from fear but from excitement. Humans excelled under chaos. She moved quickly, assigning priorities. The security breach was urgent, it threatened life. The trade dispute could wait a minute. The ethical case required diplomacy. And the insult. Humans had a way of handling insults that Xiphorians had not anticipated: confidence, clarity, and composure. Step by step, she addressed each scenario, switching focus without hesitation. Humans could multitask in ways aliens often underestimated. Her tone remained calm, her decisions precise. Delegates began murmuring among themselves, their awe growing. The insult scenario required boldness. A hologram of a rival species sneered at her. Many would have flinched. Alara, however, smiled faintly and replied, "Insults are distractions. Solutions are what matter. Let us focus on outcomes, not theatrics." The ripple effect was immediate. The holographic sneer softened, and the council's interest shifted to her reasoning, not her reaction. Humans could control the narrative, not merely respond to it. Finally, as the 10 minutes ended, the holograms vanished. The chamber was silent. Every delegate's gaze was on her. Some leaned forward, others blinked slowly in surprise, and a few exchanged muted whispers of admiration. Voreth's holographic form flickered and then solidified. "Remarkable," he said. "You have survived the Council's greatest trial, demonstrating not only intellect but diplomacy, creativity, and psychological resilience. Most species crumble under this pressure. You have thrived. The Council sees now that humans are unlike any other we have encountered." Alara nodded, keeping her composure. Humans did not gloat, but in her heart she knew Earth's place in the interstellar community was now closer than ever. But even in victory, the challenges were not over. Voreth's voice continued, quieter now. "Tomorrow, you will face the Council in a live debate with all member species present. Your performance will determine if Earth is granted full membership. Many will try to provoke you, confuse you, or test your species' limits. Be prepared." Alara exhaled slowly. The stakes were higher, yes, but humans thrived on such moments. Risk, unpredictability, and high stakes were opportunities, not obstacles. As she walked back to her quarters aboard the Council's observation deck, she reviewed the day's lessons. Listening, observing, improvising. Humans were not perfect, but they adapted faster than any alien logic could anticipate. Later that evening, she stood on the observation balcony, looking out at the galaxy. Stars stretched infinitely, planets spinning in silent harmony, nebulae glowing in colors humans had barely named. Humans were small, fragile, and young. Yet in that vast expanse they had courage, creativity, and audacity. A soft chime alerted her communicator. Her assistant, Lieutenant Mara, appeared as a hologram. "Captain, the Council's senior members requested a private briefing before tomorrow's debate. They want to understand more about human negotiation tactics." Alara's lips curved into a faint smile. Humans thrived on unpredictability. Tomorrow, she would show the Council the full measure of human ingenuity. And when the debate ended, no one would doubt Earth's place among the stars. As she prepared for rest, her mind raced with strategies, contingencies, and creative approaches. Humans were not machines. They could improvise, adapt, and inspire. That unpredictability, that spark of life, would be their greatest weapon. And tomorrow, when the Council gathered again, she would not just face the room, she would own it. The chamber was filled with tension that morning, heavier than any Alara Voss had felt before. Today was the live debate of the full Xiphorian Council, attended by delegates from dozens of species, each with their own agendas, ambitions, and prejudices. This was the final trial. The result would decide Earth's fate. Alara adjusted her ceremonial robe one last time. The outer layer shimmered with Earth's history and achievements, while beneath it, her practical suit glimmered with holographic displays she could control with subtle gestures. Today, her presence alone had to speak as loudly as her words. The chamber doors opened and a wave of delegates entered. Their faces were unreadable, but their eyes followed her carefully. Many species had assumed humans were weak, easily intimidated, or indecisive. Today, they would learn otherwise. Voreth's deep voice echoed through the hall. "Captain Voss, Earth has impressed us in simulations, in logic trials, and in problem-solving. But many still doubt your species' ability to operate within the complex dynamics of interstellar diplomacy. Today you must convince the Council. Succeed and Earth will join the Intergalactic Trade Alliance. Fail and humanity will remain isolated." Alara took a deep breath. Humans thrived under pressure. Fear did not guide them, confidence did. The first segment was a series of rapid-fire challenges from multiple delegates. They asked questions about trade, ethics, security, and planetary rights. Many were designed to trip her up, relying on alien logic humans had never encountered. Alara began calmly, addressing each question with clarity, honesty, and a touch of human intuition. She did not rely solely on logic. She emphasized creativity, collaboration, and adaptability. Her answers acknowledged potential risks but always offered solutions, compromises, and safeguards. The delegates' faces shifted. Some blinked slowly in surprise. Others whispered among themselves. Humans were not just intelligent, they were unpredictable and resourceful. Then came the first major challenge, a trade dispute between two alien species, both claiming mining rights over a newly discovered asteroid. Many had predicted that humans would falter under such pressure. Alara raised a hand, drawing the room's attention. "Both parties have valid claims," she said, her voice steady. "But conflict is costly. I propose shared access, monitored by neutral technology from Earth. Both species profit, both maintain control, and disputes are minimized. If we combine oversight with collaboration, the outcome benefits all." The chamber was silent. Slowly, the holographic representations of the alien delegates shifted, nodding in acknowledgement. They had not expected a human to propose compromise without favoritism. Next came the ethical challenge. A small, vulnerable species demanded protection against overcolonization. Many diplomats hesitated, afraid of upsetting powerful species. But humans, Alara knew, did not shrink from moral responsibility. "Protection does not require exclusion," she said. "We can establish safe zones and share resources. Earth can assist in technology to monitor compliance and ensure fairness. This preserves life and culture while respecting the Council's goals." Some delegates murmured. Humans had found a solution that balanced morality and pragmatism. The tension ratcheted higher when a delegate from a rival species attempted to insult Earth directly, questioning its readiness and intelligence. Many humans would have reacted defensively. Alara, however, leaned slightly forward, her gaze steady, her expression calm. "Insults reveal more about the speaker than the target," she said. "The Council seeks solutions, not theatrics. Let us focus on outcomes that benefit all parties rather than distractions." A ripple ran through the chamber. Delegates had expected fear, anger, or hesitation. Instead, Alara responded with clarity, confidence, and control. Humans were masters of turning psychological attacks into opportunities. Then came the final, most feared challenge. Voreth himself projected a complex multi-layered crisis simulation, combining political, ethical, economic, and security dilemmas. Delegates from other species had failed this test repeatedly. The simulation projected holograms of conflicts across 3 star systems, all unfolding simultaneously. Alara's pulse quickened, not with fear but with excitement. Humans thrived under high-stakes chaos. She quickly scanned the situation, prioritizing immediate threats. Civilian safety and security breaches first, ethical dilemmas next, then trade disputes. Her mind worked like a finely tuned machine. Humans could analyze patterns, detect hidden motives, and improvise solutions under extreme pressure. She directed holographic interfaces with subtle hand movements, coordinating multiple solutions simultaneously. Delegates watched in awe as a human solved problems across multiple systems at once, making decisions that balanced risk, fairness, and efficiency. Humans were not following protocol. They were creating it as they went, using intelligence, intuition, and adaptability to achieve the best outcome. Finally, she turned to the last part of the simulation, a psychological attack designed to provoke anger or hesitation. A holographic figure sneered at her, mocking humanity's history of mistakes and perceived weaknesses. Alara smiled faintly. Acknowledging past mistakes allows growth. Fear, hesitation, or arrogance would hinder any species. Humans learn from every challenge and adapt faster than most. We are ready not because we are perfect, but because we are resilient, resourceful, and audacious. The holographic figure froze. The council murmured. Humans had redefined the challenge, turning a trap into a demonstration of strength. Voreth's deep voice finally broke the silence. Captain Voss, you have demonstrated intelligence, resilience, diplomacy, and creativity. Humans are unlike any species we have encountered. You have not only solved our tests, you have taught us something new. Unpredictability, adaptability, and courage can be greater strengths than centuries of tradition. Alara nodded, keeping her composure. She knew the council's approval was not guaranteed yet, but she had shifted perception. Humans were no longer underestimated. Humans were respected and even feared in a quiet, admiring way. Then came the final moment. Each council member had a chance to vote on Earth's admission. The room went silent as holographic voting panels lit up, one by one. Ilara's pulse remained steady. She had done her best, but now the outcome depended on how the council interpreted humanity's potential. One by one, the votes came in. Many species had voted in favor, impressed by her performance and the solutions she had offered. A few were hesitant, bound by tradition or prejudice, but even they could not ignore the demonstration of human ingenuity and confidence. Finally, the vote concluded. Voreth stepped forward. His glowing eyes scanned the chamber, then rested on Alara. By unanimous decision of the Xiphorian Council, Earth is hereby admitted as a member of the Intergalactic Trade Alliance. Captain Voss, your species has earned its place among the stars. Your courage, creativity, and audacity have proven invaluable. A wave of relief and triumph washed over Alara. She had done it. Humans, underestimated and dismissed by countless species, had earned respect, trust, and a seat at the table. Delegates approached her, some with congratulations, others with cautious curiosity. A few who had doubted humanity extended their appendages, or equivalents of a handshake, in acknowledgement. Humans were no longer outsiders. Humans were partners capable of shaping the galaxy's future. Alara exhaled slowly. The trials were over, but the real work had just begun. Earth now had responsibilities in interstellar politics, trade, and diplomacy, but she was confident. Humans were capable of more than survival. They could thrive, lead, and inspire. Later, standing alone on the observation balcony, she gazed at the stars. Earth was small, fragile, and young compared to the vast galaxy. Yet humans had audacity, resilience, and ingenuity, qualities that could not be measured in size, strength, or technology. Her thoughts wandered to her team, her planet, and the countless challenges humanity had faced. They had adapted, endured, and overcome. And now they had a chance to shape the galaxy. Alara smiled faintly. Humans were unpredictable, humans were clever, and humans, when underestimated, could accomplish the impossible. The chamber below was now emptying, delegates murmuring in respect and curiosity about the human who had owned the room without force, without fear, simply by being audacious, intelligent, and unshakably confident. As the doors closed behind the last of the delegates, Alara turned to her communicator. "Prepare for departure," she said. "Earth has a seat at the table, and it's time we show the galaxy what humans can really do." The stars stretched endlessly before her, full of opportunities, challenges, and unknown worlds. But humans were ready. Humans were bold. Humans were fearless. And one small, determined envoy had proven that the galaxy had underestimated them at its own peril. The galaxy had changed, and humanity was now part of that change, strong, respected, and ready to lead. Alara's final thought before leaving the balcony: in a universe full of rules, limits, and traditions, humans were the wild card no one expected, and they had just won the first hand.